Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking all things 2023. I want to share my word for this year, some goals and intentions that I have for this year, and sort of what my mindset is heading into the rest of 2023. Welcome back. So glad you're here. Let's jump right in. So I have chosen a word for the year for the past several years. My word for 2022 was embrace, and the reason why I chose the word embrace was because I was in a very difficult season of motherhood. Specifically, I had had my son in October, so by the time the new year came, he was not even 3 months old yet, and my daughter was 2, and having two under 2 like that, man, it was really tough. And I was trying to find a way to embrace the season that I was in. And having that word at the forefront of my mind definitely really helped me achieve that. It helped me to just remember that they're only that little for such a short period of time. And as hard as it was, is as precious as it was. And so it was a really good word for me. So heading into 2023, I gave a lot of thought. I've been thinking for the past couple of months about what I wanted my word to be. And I knew after my cousin sadly passed away at the very end of November, if you've been following along, then you already know she was young, married with 2 little boys. And when something like that happens, when there's a death of a family member that's young and it feels like a very shocking and sudden and untimely death, in my world, my whole perspective shifted. My priorities shifted, and the way that I wanted to spend my time shifted very, very quickly. And it was pretty amazing to me how quickly everything just shifted. My mindset was just different suddenly. And I just felt and feel continually like I just want to say yes. I want to seize each day to enjoy the time that I have with my kids and family and friends, and just not let life go by, you know, getting too held up on things that don't matter. And I've had a lot of conversations with my subscribers over on Instagram, which you should subscribe. We have a good time. Um, about grief. And so many have echoed my same feelings of when you lose someone and you go through that grief process, especially when it's someone young whose life parallels yours, it does change something in you very suddenly. So my word going into 2023 is celebrate. And the reason why I chose celebrate is because I think it embodies all of these things I'm saying. To me now, after that death and being in this grieving mourning period and trying to make sense of something that doesn't make any sense, I have this feeling that I've never had before that is so palpable. And the feeling is that every single day of my life is a special occasion. And I'm so grateful to wake up in the morning and be with my kids and my husband. And so I just feel so grateful to just do the mundane things that I have done for years and years, And so celebrate. I want to bring an air of celebration and joy into every day of our life this year, and celebrate the little things and the big things, and make a big deal out of things that aren't really that big of a deal. Because this is the funny thing. I'm really good at making a big deal out of things that truly don't matter. You know the saying, making a mountain out of a molehill. I'm good at that. But I feel like I'm not as good at taking something that is not a bad thing. It's just kind of like, well, that's good. And making that a celebration. I want to focus more on that this year. So that's my word for the year, is celebrate. Just really enjoying every single day. Like I said, saying yes, seizing the day, embracing opportunities as they come, and celebrating where my kids are, where we are. And I think focusing less on striving and more on just being grateful for where we are today and what's going on today. So that's my word for the year. I have a list here of my goals or intentions for the year. And I decided this year to be extremely specific so that I could track each one of these and I could check them off or not check them off. And it would be very clear to me whether I did these things or not. I don't do as well with goals that are more like drink more water. I'm like, well, I drank some water today, so that feels like I did it. But you know what I'm saying? So these are specific. So the first one that I have on my list is to join our church. We have been attending our church for over 2 years now, but we have not officially become members. We went through a whole church thing a few years ago where we were really plugged into a church, and then the church changed very dramatically in a very short period of time, and it left us grappling, and we ended up moving over to the new church that it merged with, and some of you have been around for this. And anyway, it just didn't work out, and so we ended up leaving that church and finding a new one, and then when we found this new one, I've been like a little bit more shy about wanting to jump in and get super involved because there was some lingering pain and sadness from what had happened before. That is the Cliff Notes version of that situation. We're in a really good place now. We feel whole and healed, but moving into this year, I'm ready to make a commitment, actually join this church that we have been, essentially attending for 2.5 years or so. So that's the first thing. So I will know by the end of the year whether I did that or not. The second thing is to read 25 books this year. You can friend me on Goodreads if you are on Goodreads, which is like a book tracking app. It actually links up with my Kindle, which happens to be sitting right here. I've already read 3.5 books, and it is January 5th. So I think I'm going to be blowing past my goal of 25 books. The reason why I chose that is because it feels attainable, and I hate having goals that aren't attainable because I'll just ignore them if I feel like I can't handle them. 25 books is very attainable, especially since I'm, doing so well already. I'm also still, Riley's still home from work. I haven't opened up my shop yet for the year, so we're still kind of in a restful season. So I've been reading a lot. Plus, my kids are both a little bit under the weather, so I've been at home a lot, holding them and reading a lot. But anyway, 25 books. You can follow me, friend me, or whatever it's called, on Goodreads if you want to track along with my progress, and we can kind of share book recommendations and all that kind of thing. The next goal that I have is to hit 75,000 subscribers here on YouTube. I've been hovering a little over 50,000 subscribers here for a while as I've had my kids and been so distracted, and I haven't been pushing the pedal hard on YouTube because I just haven't had the bandwidth. I feel that as my children are getting a little bit older and I have, like a 3.25-year-old and a 1.25-year-old, so to speak, that I have a little bit more time. So 75K on YouTube, really looking forward to some more videos, more content, and hoping to gain some traction here in terms of subscribers. So if you're not subscribed and you want to, that would greatly help me out as I move toward that goal. My next goal is 400 hours outside with my kids this year. So if you've never heard of the 1,000 hours outside, there is like a website, and there's an app that I bought, and an Instagram account that's great. And it basically talks about having the goal in a calendar year to spend 1,000 hours outdoors with your kids. Such a good goal. I think that's great. That feels really hard for me to reach. It might not be. 1,000 just seems very overwhelming. So I chose 400 because that's about an hour every single day. And we play all the time, and we go on walks and things like that. But I don't know, I've never tracked it, so I don't even have a concept of how many hours a day, week, or month we would spend outdoors. So 400 to me is awesome because that's every single day an hour. And then there are going to be some times, like when we go to the beach in the summer, when we're spending 6, 7, or 8 hours outdoors, and that will make up those extra hours. So I hope to blow past that goal. I would love to hit 1,000 hours outside with my kids this year. I think fresh air and sunshine is the very best. But that's my goal personally, is 400 hours because, again, feels doable, feels like something I can check off. And the app, you will actually track it. So as I've been taking the kids to the playground and going on walks, I've been tracking the time on there. And so that's really cool because that speaks to me. I like data. My next goal is to work out 104 times in 2023, and that's just 2 times a week. Times 52 times is 104 times. And I'll just track that because every time I go and work out, I turn on my, my watch to record my workout. And so it will be very easy for me to go back through and calculate. That's another goal that I would love to exceed, but it's very doable for me to go. I have a set schedule with my personal trainer to go twice a week right now. So if I can continue on with that, which I've been doing since September of last year, we will be good. The next thing I have on my list is a whole house declutter. And y'all, I have been making such fantastic progress on this. I'm so proud of myself. I have been getting rid of bags and bags and bags of stuff. I mean, it feels so good to get it just out of our house. I went through my entire wardrobe, got rid of 6 bags. All of my pregnancy and maternity clothing, all of my postpartum clothing that was just stretched out and worn out so badly, shoes that no longer fit me that are still in good condition, all kinds of sweaters and blouses that I had been holding on to, some of them for the better part of a decade. It was time to let that go. Went through the kids' toys. We've been going, I mean, I have been ruthless and it has felt so good. Our bedroom, can you see? It's like so peaceful. We still have our Christmas sign up. It says, "And to all a good night," and take that down. But it just feels really good to take things out of our house that we're not using. I've had to get really real with myself and like have several like look in the mirror, come to Jesus kind of conversations like, Blair, that was a hobby of yours before you had kids. You're not getting back to that anytime soon. Get rid of the stuff that goes with it. What I have realized for me personally is that a lack of decluttering a certain area of my home comes down to always for me 2 things. One is putting off those decisions. It just feels like too big of a decision. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know if I want to get rid of it. I don't know where I want to put it. I don't know if I want to sell it. And the second bucket that my feelings fall into with regards to decluttering or lack thereof is grief, is put off grief, specifically with regards to my kids' stuff. All my kids' baby stuff, there's a grieving process of like, I don't have itty bitty babies anymore. My son is still a baby. I mean, he's 15 months old. He's still very he's so sweet. And my daughter is blossoming into this beautiful, smart toddler. And it's just like little girl. I just love her. But they're not little itty tiny babies anymore. And all that little teeny tiny newborn stuff and 0 to 3 month stuff, I don't need anymore. And for all intents and purposes, we have made the decision that we're finished having children. And so it's time to let some of that stuff go. And I have been doing a really good job of that over this winter break. I mean, a lot. We've gotten rid of boxes and boxes and boxes of baby stuff. It's a continual process. There is a grieving process that accompanies it, at least for me. But I'm I'm forcing myself to dive in and do it. And our house feels like it can breathe. And that is a gift for me, for my family, being in a peaceful space. Love it. I have 3 more goals or intentions for this year. The next one is to launch my Shopify site. I've been talking about this a lot over the past 6 months or so, but basically I am going to move my shop, Blair Lamb Design, off of Etsy and onto a hosted site. It's going to be run by something that's called Shopify. You may or may not be familiar with that, but basically it won't be on the Etsy platform. So it will just be blairlambdesign.com, and I will have complete control creatively over how it's set up, and I won't have to be, beholden to all of Etsy's regulations and fees and all of that. I've loved Etsy for many, many years. I've been on Etsy since 2016, and before that I had a different type of shop doing like infographics back before I got married. But it's time for a change, and I'm ready to have more control over my business and over what I sell and all of that. And I've been working on it. I've been chipping away at it little by little, and I'm hoping for a February launch. So stay tuned for that. I am thrilled and excited. It's it's been a big undertaking, but it's going to be a really big step for me in my business, and I'm looking forward to it. The next goal is, I would say probably a better word for it would be intention, because there's a lot of factors with regards to this one that are out of our control, and that is to buy a house. And we own the house we live in. We're so grateful for it. We love it. We've been here for almost 7 years, but we're ready for something different. I've talked about it before, so that's something we'll see. We'll see if we can make that happen to buy a house. The other goals that I have are like personal finance goals and personal business goals. So I'm not going to share them publicly, but I have them written down so that I can kind of track my progress that way. So there you have it. That is what I'm focused on moving into 2023, focused on celebrating every single day and some of these different goals that I have. I hope that you are having a wonderful kickoff to your new year, and you're feeling like you've got your goals on lock and you still have time. You don't have to do it the very first day of January. Take this month to really reflect. what do you want to focus on this year? These are the things I'm planning on focusing on, as well as just celebrating. And I just appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next week, and let's go. Let's make 2023 a really awesome year.